Hello, welcome to this discussion on what makes a good power slash what makes a good power system. Who wants to
Okay,
start?
so before we begin, I just wanna break the ice a bit and talk about just like a little summary a bit. So what I mean, I don't know if David or Reg means the same thing, but when I mean by power system or like power, I mean like stuff like Nen, Ki, Chakra, race,
Reiatsu, yeah,
quirks,
Haku,
Pretty
magic,
much.
Devil Fruits.
etc. And I'm just gonna start off so I can kind of give so you can kind of give us a perspective of where I'm at of like my top three favorite power systems, and then later down the video when we discuss it, like what makes a good one, makes a bad one, you'll kind of understand where I stand. So I would say quirks is one of them. I like the just the like basic bitch style of like quirks like certain series have like there's just like a random power because I you can technically argue that quirks are the same thing as like mutants from like X-Men, like a mutation type thing.
Yeah,
It's
and
is
I actually have something to say back to the quirk thing in a bit, actually.
and then number two, I'd have to say magic because magic.
From
I mean, magic is really like a basic bitch style, but
specifically from what
What
magic?
what form of magic?
it's just magic in general.
No, that's not how that. What are you fucking? What? We're talking about what's.
Are we talking about fairy tale style magic, or are we talking about Black Clover style magic? Are we talking about like
Because
Maggie shit, or what are we
Thurman,
talking about
that's a
here?
big deal. We're talking about what makes a good power system, not like magic is so open ended.
No, but you have to let me finish. That's why I'm just saying magic as a whole because magic is a very well known power system. So
Ugh,
magic, and
face desk.
then my last one would probably have to be like I'd try to say like something obscure, like um let me think.
Okay, well, can we
We'll,
move? Can
we'll,
we
we'll,
say
we'll,
ours?
we'll, we'll we'll get back to it, but like something to do with like something different, not like key or like chakra, but something that makes it unique. So that's
Thurman,
gonna be
one of your choices was fucking magic. Just in general, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life.
yeah, but Red, I already said that it's a basic bitch of of
That
it,
makes.
and I said
Oh my
explain
god,
why.
Thurman. Okay, well, anyway, let me actually get into some Anyway, so first of all, with quirks, I actually, as much as I love My Hero Academia, I actually semi have a problem with quirks as a power system. I think that it's a bit too open ended because I personally, my favorite kind of power system is the kind that has very well established rules, what you can and can't do with it. Because the more well established rules that a power system has, the more it feels like it's real to me. Now, quirks, I like quirks um, because like the author doesn't go stupid crazy with them. Um, and it kind of reminds me of the same thing with Devil Fruits, right? Um, it is a little it is a little interesting though because like part of me like I just kind of have to like throw some logic off to the side and remember, hey, it's a fictional series, I'm having fun. But like part of my brain wants to know, okay, why, what made her ears turn into fucking headphone jacks, like what did this, what
I
did
was
that, like,
just gonna bring that up.
yeah, like how does a
It's a
mutation like that
mutation.
happen? What?
It's a mutation.
It,
Yeah, but
it
how does it?
literally, I do agree with Thurman there. It does have a lot of the X-Men feel to me.
Mm-hmm. No, and that's
I mean,
again, I'm not saying here, man. May I finish my point? I didn't interrupt yours.
mhm.
So
Oh wow.
yeah, oh yeah, your intro was so horrible. I need to make up for it. So
Nothing.
what's up?
Nothing. Continue.
Yeah, okay. um, no, but no,
Mhm.
so like I actually like quirks for the most part, but I will say that like it does kind of break the rule that I more appreciate with a power system that I want, which is well established rules. Now, obviously, my favorite power system from anything is Nen. Um, quickly explaining why I think that it's very well explained. The rules and the rules, regulations, restrictions, everything that exists there, it just feels the most like a real power system from anything that I've ever seen. Um, everything that they're doing now in the story was foreshadowed back when Nen was first talked about. You know what I mean? A lot of stories, in order to kind of like up the hype, if you took what was being like, let's look at Bleach for example with Zanpakuto. If you took what was being talked about in the early series, like Shikai's and like sealed form stuff, right? And then like end series, it's all Bankai. No one's talking about Shikai. But with Nen, the things that people are using right now in the fucking current chapters are all things that were fucking revealed and talked about the very first time Nen was talked about. Nen as a concept started off, and instead of most series that have a power system, and then as the author wants to advance the power system, they kind of throw more stuff in there. Nen, everything about the power system was revealed almost immediately. Like, it's like, here's Ten, here's Gyo, here's N, here's Shu, here's, like all the different things you can do with it. And then anything that's an offshoot is just a kind of manipulation of what was already done. So you had the original just shrouding yourself with Nen, which created a basic defense. And then later in Greed Island, you have Biscuit say, oh, you can take that shroud and focus in areas to up your defense in one area, but that would lower your defense in another. Everything just feels like it makes fucking sense with Nen. And I love stuff like that. So kind of branching off from what I consider to be the perfect power system Nen, I enjoy, back to what I was saying with Bleach, I think Bleach did an okay job, not perfect, but I do like the concept of Zanpakuto's and Ryatsu. I think Zanpakuto's had a very easy to understand system. I think the best power system should be simple in its complexity. Like, it's easy to understand, but it can be very broadened upon. So I remember loving the concept of Zanpakuto's because it's like, here's your Zanpakuto, and every Zanpakuto has a name, and then there's like a full released form. So it's like, here's Zanpakuto, here's like their first name, and here's like their full name. And it was about naming conventions. It was about getting to know your Zanpakuto better. It was a power gain system through a relationship with a soul. And I thought that was really clever. Same thing with the Kido. There was 100 named Kido from 1 to 100, same with Bakudo. And that was, it was simple. It made sense. None of the powers came out of nowhere. You know what I mean? Now, moving on to power systems I don't like. I really don't like power systems where it feels like nothing's ever explained and it's just like, we can just do this because we can. A good example is, I'm really not a fan of, who here has seen Noragami?
I have.
Thurman? You have not
I've heard
seen
of Okay. I have heard of it, but I've never watched the anime.
Noragami, I love the characters, but I think the power system is a bit fucking random. Like, to me, the power system, that's a kind of power system that I really don't like because it feels very fan fiction-y. And what I mean by that is, like, it just kind of seems like the author's like throwing things out there, like, this person can do this and this person can do this. It feels like they're coming up with the powers on the fly, and it doesn't really fit into an established system, like the whole regalia thing. It's just everything's so random, and nothing has an explanation. He fucking finds a lost soul of a kid, and for some fucking reason, it turns into a sword. Okay, you're a sword now. This one's a lion. This one's a fucking earring. What does it mean? Why do they turn into the shape they turn into? Was that ever explained? Like, why do they turn into the shape they turn into? What makes them have the powers that they have? That's the kind of shit I want to know. So that's my main rule. I want a power system to be well explained, have well explained rules, boundaries, definitions, and what it can and can't do from Jump Street, and then expound on those rules. David?
Yeah, I've been muting me on the actual recording here.
Yeah, no problem.
For me, if you want me to break down my top 3, I'm going to first.
Well, you don't have to just do top 3. You can explain what you like and dislike too.
Well, what I want to do first is kind of jump in on the Nen here, because that is one of my favorite systems. Like you explained, everything we're seeing now is shit that was explained way back in the beginning, and it doesn't feel like the shit that we see from Dragon Ball Z and all the other, as we call them here, generic shonen trash.
Oh gosh. Yes, I guess we do that. I don't know if Thurman does.
I don't do that because I'm not a person who has to bash and hate on something.
Yeah, says the motherfucker who said just plain roughshod magic is one of his types of power, dude. Oh.
Hey, I like magic.
Magic itself is a great concept.
So broad, dude. Magic.
I'm not going to deny that magic as a concept is interesting, because you can do interesting shit with magic. But to say just generic magic, but I
Well, I should probably
digress.
say mana. I think mana would be more
Yeah, that would be better.
more accurate.
I
Accurate.
could see that being better here. Oh, did I
Because
just agree with something Black Clover related? Oh,
Uh,
what's happening to me? Uh, but no, Nin to me was one of the first ones that actually drew me in from the beginning because you have all these preset rules and all of them are so well explained that there's no real potential for a loophole to where they can just, oh, by the way, here's this that I forgot to mention 9 million chapters ago.
he really grounded his rules, I think, really well.
He really did. Unlike, your Odas and your Toriyamas and your fucking Kishimotos, they're not throwing shit in last second. So that
Yeah, and see, interestingly, it's been a while since I've read Yu Yu Hakusho, but can you remind me, Thurman, if I'm remembering correctly, their powers seem to kind of come out of nowhere and have really no explanation either. Like, why did Kuwabara have an energy sword? Like what was the? Was that just how he was? It just generic energy, and they channeled it a certain way, or what was the?
It was
Yu Yu Hakusho's?
I forgot. I have to look it up. It was actually a. I don't think it was key or anything. It was something.
I thought it was like spirit energy or some weird name like that. It had to do with him being a spirit detective. I remember it was like a move they gave him for that. Yeah. But either way, continuing, David.
Another one I do like, and as generic as it is, and I know I just said I didn't like how it was explained, but the concept itself of like the ki, the chi, whatever you want to call it, has always been interesting to me. Just because
it's very open ended. Yeah.
It's very open ended, and the reason it interests me is because somebody has studied like martial arts and shit. It does have the grounding in that aspect of life. All of that is really part of that field that I was in for most of my teenage to. I unfortunately fucked my knee up and had to step away from that. But the chi and all that is just something that's actually, near and dear to what I used to do. And so I still go back and watch, your Dragon Ball Z's and all that shit. But I realize now as an adult, how open-ended and, trashy the power system itself was. But
yeah, I think for the most part, I didn't mind Ki because it was like, and I'm not even a fan of Dragon Ball Z, but like Ki was mostly just different colors and shapes of beams.
Oh, yeah.
It got a little weird when I didn't understand how Majin was able to turn shit into chocolate. That kind of confused me.
Yeah, no. You can't do that in real life, sadly. Well, or I'd be one hell of a fat ass.
That's not my complaint about the life thing. Like because it's a fictional show. My complaint was more of with a power system, you have established okay, we shoot beams. I know Majin Buu was like some otherworldly, godly being, so I guess maybe that was the thing with him. I don't know.
Well, to be fair, he wanted to end the series of fucking Frieza, so
yeah.
The fact that he was still
there was some clever. I mean, oh sorry, go ahead.
The fact that he was still writing that shit on a weekly basis was impressive as hell.
Oh yeah, and I mean honestly, I gotta say as well that there's only you'd think that there'd only be so many different ways to do a beam, but good on Toriyama, he did come up with a lot of different beams. My personal favorite still is Burning Attack, where he just fucking flails his arms wildly.
Right?
You know how many times I replicated that as a kid? Goddamn.
Yeah. For me, instead of the DBZ, I was more into the ninja hand symbols from Naruto, trying to fucking do that shit.
No, I love the ninja, bro. Don't even you. What's wrong with you? Naruto is good, okay? Just because you don't like the fucking Shippuden, and I feel you on that. I do. You don't gotta fucking hate the whole series. It was one chunk.
Oh, I don't hate the whole series. I just hate Shippuden.
Shippuden didn't even get bad until the very end of it. Am I wrong?
You're not wrong. To him, you're wrong, but to
I think Shippuden got bad. I think it was good until the Pain arc ended. I think the Pain arc was great, and then after that ended, it was downhill from there.
Yeah, the Pain arc is where it should have actually ended, and then carried on to a Ninja War series or something like that. But I digress.
But yeah, let's talk about I guess chakra. How do we feel about that as a power system?
Okay, so let's just So yes, I guess I'll still start with Chakra. So Chakra, see, I didn't really mind Chakra. I
I thought
actually kind
Chakra
of
was
liked
pretty good.
Chakra.
There was a lot of good
Because
rules in it.
mostly because the one thing I look into a power system is like you have the base, right? You have the power system, this power where everyone can just get their deprive from, and then they have their own unique like abilities from it. For example,
Yeah, I agree. I like that. I like that.
like with Nen, you have different types of you have
Yeah,
different.
with Nen you have like your like Gyo and your N and your stuff like that, but then you make your special ability along with it.
And then you make it based off of, and the stronger the stronger the, and so you have different categories, right? And then based on the category that you get, you can create your own ability and your own sacrifice, or what I think it's called sacrifice based on.
If I'm
Because
remembering correctly, Chakra like it was a lot of like it was mostly jutsus that everyone could learn, but then there was the Kekkei Genkai, which was specific
yeah,
jutsus that only certain bloodlines could use.
honestly, I like that. Like I liked
Yeah, I thought that was
how
a good explanation too. That like a bloodline trait for a specific ability.
I liked each, like I liked the Sharingan. I liked how each ability was like unique to like how Rock Lee's like taijutsu. Uh, I like Shino's like how he used bugs. I liked Naruto how he can use like transformation jutsu and shadow
Okay.
clones.
How about Haku? The one power that made absolutely no goddamn sense.
I'm trying to remember what her power was actually.
The ice
ice
mirrors.
It's a
Yeah, that was interesting.
It's a he.
Did you say she? Did I say she?
Yeah, you said she.
God damn it! I'm sorry. Oh well,
And-
you're the one that's in denial about Neferupita being.
Yeah, you've both fallen for traps at this point.
Whatever. Anyway, it's an ant, so it counts.
Thurman, this just in. Thurman's okay with fucking ants.
Um, so
I'm sure there's a tag for that on In Hentai.
So the one thing I will give Chakra is the fact that it was very unique and how each character has their own like unique ability to them, and that's what I like. Besides, like like wind chakra, like fire, earth, blah blah blah, like just stuff that everyone can do, but it's all unique. I would say I like chakras, but like I would say now I'm just gonna say my bottom three powers, not ones that I hate, but
Well,
just
if they're your
ones
bottom
that
three, they should be ones that you don't like, bro.
not ones I'm not gonna say that I hate, but ones that I just didn't find interesting or didn't, because I'm not gonna be negative, Red.
No,
Okay,
that's the point, bro.
so
People love
so
negative.
have any of you ever read Taboo Tattoo?
I have not. Sounds
Don't
stupid.
even get me fucking started on a shitty adaptation.
So Taboo Tattoo, they use their power system based off tattoos, and while that is okay, it was just the tattoos just didn't it didn't
Interesting.
wasn't explained better. It's just like, oh, these tattoos were genetically made to give you abilities once they're like put on you, and it was just like it was just boring. Like only thing I can really say. Like there was nothing to make it stand out or make it impressive. It was just meh, and I really didn't like it. And then
The anime was worse than the manga by miles.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of another one.
While you're thinking, what did
I
you
love how
think
he
of, like,
comes in and says, "All right, here comes my bottom three, guys. I have one."
Cause I have to think because usually I don't try to stay negative.
What do you think of the
You
Branch
know-
of Sin from fucking Dead Man Wonderland?
Oh, Branch of Sin was amazing. Branch of Sin was
I didn't
really
think that was
really
bad.
good.
You think that was bad, David?
No,
Branch of Sin
it was
pretty
one
good.
of the more interesting ones I've seen in recent manga and
I
anime.
I liked it because it was just like it was unique, but like you use blood, like that, I think that's dope.
Like,
Plus,
that's
plus,
dope.
it had consequences because if you use too much of
Exactly.
your own blood,
Yeah,
So
because that's how blood works.
it was like a double-edged sword. So I like that.
Wow. All right, I'm time to fucking. Are y'all ready for this? It's time to fucking drop the hammer on real ass. Or I said that wrong. Time to fucking talk about real good shit. You ready? The fucking bending from Avatar: Last Airbender. Beautiful, amazing. I love everything about it.
Man,
Oh,
Oh
Thurman,
no!
kick him. Kick him. Did you meet him?
He just got perma-muted for that. That is one of the most unique power systems.
Oh, yeah, it's so good because again, it's just like I said. While he's perma-muted and fucking sitting in his corner thinking about his decision,
His shitty opinion.
we got to talk about how good bending is. Okay, it's complexity in its simplicity, simplicity in its complexity. That's what it is, right? So you start off with this base idea of you got 4 tribes, each one can bend an element,
Yep.
and then from there you have different people that what they're gonna do, what they're able to do, and there's not going to be any surprises on like, oh, just kidding, we can do this too. All it is what you do get though is people that use them in different ways. So okay, I'm going to do water like this. I'm going to do water like this. I'm going to bring water up like this and freeze it and then throw ice shards. I'm going to use water to heal. I love that. Same with the firebenders. You got people that can like channel the lightning with it. You got like with the earthbenders you have what's up? With the earthbenders, you had a fucking fantastic thing where like,
You're
like,
unmuted, Thurman.
Okay, I'm back.
Can I please finish what I was saying though before you jump back in? With the earthbenders, you had the beautiful like transition from them, just normal doing earth to realizing, holy shit, metal is a part of earth, and then they started being able to bend metal, and
once you got to Korra, it got a little fucked with like blood bending and shit like that.
I haven't looked into that, but either way, and plus, not to mention, each one of the different bending styles came from a different like martial arts, didn't it? Like there was like the flowy like water and the really hard pounding earth, right?
Yes, there was.
So it was just a really, really, really well thought out power system. And Thurman, because we're open to different opinions and it is a discussion video, go ahead and I'm curious why you don't like bending.
Because I didn't say I didn't like it, but it's not anything special. I mean, it's literally just moving earth. People have fire abilities, people have water abilities, people have earth abilities, people have air abilities. It's not anything unique. I'm surprised that you think it's so good because I mean, it's honestly it's no different than Natsu blowing fire or
I'll tell you why it's different, Thurman. Because it's done with some fucking tact. Okay, here's the difference. Okay, so like look at most. Okay, so in Fairy Tale, when they do a fire ability, it's like what crazy color and or shape and or combination of color and shape fire can I shoot? In fucking Avatar: Last Airbender, each bending style comes with a martial arts style that fits that element, and it's just so beautifully done in Avatar. It's complexity and its simplicity, and it's also powers that don't come out of goddamn nowhere. Like I said, I enjoy understanding the limitations from the beginning. So when okay, this tribe can use fire, this tribe can use water, this tribe can use earth, and this tribe can use air, right? You know all that from the beginning. But then it comes down to, so you're not going to be surprised by bullshit Deus Ex Machina power, but what you are going to be surprised by is what different ways can they use the fire, and what different ways can they use water, and what different ways can they use air and earth. That is why I like it. Simple in its complexity. It's the same reason I like, base. Let's look at Armanaki, for example. You could say, oh, Armanaki is boring. All it is hardening shit. But you look at the different ways people use it. Virgo puts it over a fucking bamboo stick. Whips people with that. Zoro puts it over his swords. You have Pika, who fully coats his body in it. You know what I mean? Like that's what I mean by it. It's simple in its complexity. It's fun because of how simple it is, and they branch out beautifully from the simplicity.
It's just it doesn't like but what you said about the fairy tale thing. See, I'm not the type of person to defend fairy tale, but I feel like I have to because I mean, to be completely honest, fairy tales the way they use elements is honestly I feel like it's better than avatars because
Why? Because it's shinier and prettier.
Because what you just said to me, it's based off martial arts, but it's not anything special. It's just not. It doesn't break away from the norm. It's still using fire. They don't use it. It's just people throwing fire, lightning at each other. That's really much it. While with Natsu, I know you're gonna hate me for this, but you can't deny it that each person, each dragon slayer has different names and different ways to attack. We have Fire Dragon War, where he spits fire. He has Iron Fist, where he punches you with fire. There's a lot more stuff that Natsu does with
fire.
Have
you not seen Avatar in a while?
when Zuko does with fire. I mean, it's just
David, you want to jump in and tag out, David?
I'm sorry, but I mean,
Dude,
I like the power system, but
David, help me.
it doesn't seem.
the reason that Avatar and by default, Korra stays so unique in the aspect of the power is not only the fact that it combines like the martial arts, but the fact that it also incorporates, at least late series, the melding of elements, especially in like Korra, they started melding elements like the metal bending, the blood bending, this shit like that was kind of melding with like more than one element, but at the same time, each one still utilizing even a further, martial arts form. And once you got into really late Korra, combining eventually, multiple, elements on top of that, and then furthering that as she became, the Avatar, blah, 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 blah. It's, I don't know why a lot of people hate the Avatar, power system, and Thurman's not the only one.
I don't know if a lot of people do. I've only ever heard Thurman say that, honestly.
You see it a lot in the debating community, people bashing it. It's one of those, because it's so simplistic and not flashy, a lot of people, I'm assuming that's why, because they're so used to like, oh, pretty beam colors, oh, pretty fire, oh, pretty, lightning. But a power system doesn't have to have flash to be, meaningful.
Because, yeah, I just fire, but they use it in different ways, and like I don't know.
My thing is, you guys are like insulting everyone by saying flashy, like we're a bunch of kids. Like that's
You
so
are,
insulting
actually.
that you guys are saying that though. Like, but like you guys.
There's no other way to define, the beam attacks as they're appealing to people because they're flashy. They're appealing to people because they, show action sequences through, lack of telling the story. Oh, that beam there is catastrophic because of the size of it, and it just shows, the destruction of the stadium, in Dragon Ball Super. Because that hit at this point, instead of, actually, describing the attack, by actually pushing it outward as that flashing beam of light, it just shows the destruction rather than telling it. Whereas in something like Avatar, it's, telling you how destructive the power is before it actually brings it out into the open. Like Toph, when she, utilizes her earthbending, being blind and then going through the motions of the attack and then pushing it outward after knowing the ground rules of how that power works is more meaningful to more advanced viewers than those who sit and watch the same beam attack 9 million times and like, oh, pretty colors.
And honestly, to me, it's just like I like knowing the ground rules of a power early on, so that the author isn't just gonna throw bullshit at me every 2 seconds, right?
Bingo.
So like in Fairy Tail, in Fairy Tail, like something like Fairy Tail, it's like, here's Natsu's new fire attack. It's got a new color in it, and maybe it's got lightning, so it's new and crazy. With Avatar, you know what you're getting. It's fire. So the uniqueness is going to come from how it's used and the strategy involved with it.
But I mean, there's nothing. But how it's used isn't anything special. Like I can't see thinking like you two do. I would hate fiction. Because you guys have to analyze every single thing, and that takes the fun
I don't sit and analyze every single thing. I still sit and watch generic tripe constantly to shut my mind off from analyzing, more complex series.
Thurman, we have two separate sides to our brain. We're able to, like, sometimes we want like shit, and sometimes we want, like, just turn our brain off shit. Exactly. But during these videos, we're going to our quality shit, right? And by the way, it's funny that you say that, because I think the exact same thing about the way you think about fiction.
Exactly. If I sat and read Black Clover every fucking week, I would blow my goddamn brains out.
I was just thinking about this like the other day. I was just like, I cannot think how Red thinks, because if I did, I would hate fiction because it'd be boring. I don't know how with your mindset you can just enjoy the stuff that you enjoy. Like, I would go crazy.
Which part? What do you mean by that? Like, which part? What are you talking about?
It's just like you have to like overanalyze everything, and you have to be like, oh, this has to do this has to do this. Oh, there's like this will piss you off, like this will piss you off. Like it's just like
It doesn't really piss me off.
I can't do that. Like it's just so like it feels like I'm wasting my time if like it's like that's the one thing I couldn't be a critic. I couldn't be a critic because I feel like critics always have to find critics watch something just to find flaws in it.
I'm not going to deny that fact right there. That is
Like,
absolute truth.
I do want to say that I'm never going into something looking for a flaw. I promise you that. The flaws come naturally to me. I'm never like, if I'm liking something, I'm not going to be like, where's the flaw though? No, I'm going to sit there. I'm going to go into something naturally and something. Here's what I changed. Okay, the only thing that changed from like middle school me to now was that back in the day, if I didn't like something, I had all the time in the world, so I was like, whatever, it's fine. Now, if I don't like something, I'm like, wait, why should I fucking lie to myself and pretend I like this? I'm gonna call out what I don't like. This thing that I don't like keeps happening. Why should I waste my time with this show? That's all.
Exactly. If
So,
I may jump in here.
That's the same what I feel. Like I always give like an anime like at least to like 4 episodes, or I could give like Recore isn't clicking with me at all right now. I give something a chance to build up, and it's just like I could be wrong, but it just feels like people are trying to be critics too much instead of just enjoying it. If it's bad, you can say it's bad, but if it feels like people go into like a game, anime, manga, whatever, just to find flaws of it, and I can't do that. I can't do that because it'd be boring. If I went into everything that I ever did expecting to find flaws first, just so I can find good reasons I like it, I would go crazy. Because that defeats the purpose of.
No, I agree with you, and I don't do that. Because you're
Neither
right.
do
no one could enjoy something if they did that.
The reason that critics do that.
Oh, you go ahead. Sorry, go ahead and finish.
The reasons that critics do that is because they're given a paycheck to find flaws.
Yeah.
Look at IGN, for example. When they review a game, they go in looking specifically for a flaw. If they can't find a flaw, they say they don't find a flaw. If they find even one minute thing with it, they knock the review down 2-3 points. That's why when they gave God of War, the new God of War that comes out in a week, like a fucking 10, I'm like, holy shit, IGN didn't find anything wrong with it? This game better be fucking perfect.
I mean, to be fair, they gave Skyward Sword a 10, and a lot of people thought that was...
Yeah. Exactly. It's just like...
I liked Skyward Sword, but people...
I wasn't the hugest fan of Skyward Sword. I respect what it tried to do.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, the reliance and the push to make people buy a Wii Motion Plus was a turnoff for me initially.
No,
because that just felt a little bit scummy.
That's semi-off topic. So, I guess... But yeah, no, that's not what I ever try to go into. And plus, you got to remember, Thurman, the point of this video is to analyze what makes a power system good and bad. So we have to have our critical minds on for this video.
Exactly.
But I'm saying it's just that I hate when you guys use the term like flashy, because I mean it's flashy.
How would you describe it? I am legitimately curious. How would you describe a DBZ beam attack versus?
It seemed like flashy is like bad. And my thing is this, okay? My thing is this. Is that when you guys like bash like DBZ for their power system, or
Actually, I have no problem with DBZ's power system. I have a problem with DBZ's plot character.
What plot?
But we'll just focus on like power systems right now, since it's the topic of the video. So when you guys talk about stuff like that, like obviously I understand. I honestly don't believe DBZ is the Dragon Ball Z as a whole is anything special. To be honest, like I agree with you guys on that level. The characters need work. The fights are good.
They've had 30 years.
I think the fights are good, but they could be better. Like I agree with you guys on the level where Dragon Ball, like stuff like Naruto, Bleach, Dragon Ball Z are series that are good for starters. People who are trying to get into anime because they're a gateway. Like if it's your first
like
time,
Black Clover is now.
No, it is not a gateway. It's something that to you as you're trying to get into anime. If you want to get someone into anime, I'll recommend these 3 because they're like a gateway for shonen wise, because they're simple. They do what they have to do to get your attention, and it works. No matter how much I bash on Bleach or Naruto, it does what it's supposed to do, and I can't fault it. And so, well, my thing is, when you guys, I don't think they're perfect. I think there's a lot of flaws with them, but I'm not gonna, because at the end of the day, they're gateways for people, and it works. Obviously, when you start getting into more anime, you can branch out to better stuff, Fullmetal Alchemist, Cowboy Bebop, Hunter x Hunter, stuff like that. But when it comes to the power system, when you guys say like flashy and all that, like I don't necessarily see that as a bad thing, because a power system, like you said, Red, because you said it perfectly. A power system, you made sense. You said a power system is supposed to make sense. It's supposed to be simple. We're supposed to get it like that. It's supposed to be explained perfectly. And honestly, I feel like Chi does that. Like there's nothing.
No, I have no problem with Ki. That was David.
There's nothing wrong with the flashy Kamehameha, Gallic gun, like, because it's consistent. There's no.
I agree.
Twists and turns. Each move is unique to somebody else. Instant transmission, Kaioken. Boom.
I agree.
Wait. Each move is unique to each individual person, but don't like 7 or 8 characters use a Kamehameha?
Well, that is true. And then he would like make fucking villain. Like he'd be literally made a villain that would like literally copy a move. It's like that was his whole thing.
Yeah. But I mean, Master Roshi passed it on to multiple people as well.
David, Kamehameha is a martial art technique. It was
exactly, but it's still. You said each move is specific to each character, but I called you out on that because multiple people can use that move.
One move besides like Destructo Disc.
Destructo Disc, multiple people use too.
Solar Flare.
Solar Flare, multiple people use.
Gallic Gun, Final Flash, Big Bang Attack, Burning Attack. You're naming moves that you're naming moves that were literally taught to Goku. And
exactly, but you yourself said that each move is individual to characters. I had to call you out on that.
But okay,
I honestly think you misspoke. But here, can I please have my rebuttal, please?
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so number one, when it comes to my use of the word flashy as a negative, I mean when it's flashy and it's only flashy and there's nothing else. That's what I mean by that, right? So I'm talking shows that rely on the flashiness but don't put any other effort into it in any other regard. Do you see what I'm saying, Thurman? So that's all I mean. So I'm talking like I think Fairy Tail kind of did that, especially near the end, where like Natsu's attacks were just kind of like differently colored. A lot of the arc would be like Natsu eating a different color of fire, and then it would do something to him. You know.
I honestly, the only reason why I defended Fairy Tail there, because I usually I wouldn't defend Fairy Tail like that, but the only reason I did that is because like comparing Avatar to Fairy Tail, the reason why I say I liked a little bit power, like how they use magic and fire and stuff like that compared to Avatar, is because Avatar, they just use it. Yes, they use it as like a fighting style, which I like, but at the same time, it wasn't really anything to like break it away from anything like that. It's just the same as like if a character in like Black Clover or Hunter x Hunter would use fire. It's nothing. Yes.
Again, the reason that you're not seeing it is because it was subtle. It was subtle because it was the way they moved with it. It was like how they moved. Okay.
Okay. I'm sorry. You can finish.
No, I mean that was. I don't think I'm gonna get you on this one. It's fine, but like again, it was more of like you can like watch videos on like where they analyze it. Like it's the way there was so much detail put into like the movements required to do bending. Like it's not just that they fucking stand there with their hands out and like fire. There was
exactly.
It was like each fucking bending was like a different style of dance, and you fought like through almost like a dance like maneuver. That was kind of what made it unique in that regard.
Yeah.
But no. So my thing with flashy is this. I think when flashy is combined with good strategy and well thought out powers, that's great. I don't mind a little flashy here and there. I don't like the over-reliance on flashy. So when I'm saying flashy, I'm talking like power systems that literally just rely on that. So like, let's think late Naruto. You went from like actual strategic ninja shit to like dropping fucking meteors from the sky. Oh my god. You know, like it went from like that, like we're ninjas and we stealth around and that's how we fight, to explosion attack. Well, now we're just exploding continents with every attack. Like that's my issue. That's all.
And it, not to mention, there was literally no plot near the end, really. To add with that fucking absolute ass pull of dropping
Yeah, but we're
meteors
talking
that
about
could.
the power system. But yes.
See, the thing is with that though is that like I like Hunter x Hunter's power system. Hunter x Hunter's power system isn't flashy. It's very simple, complex. Like like the Junkin isn't flashy at all. Like,
yeah, exactly. And that's what the point I'm making, dude. It's not flashy at all, and yet somehow it's the fucking best. Because like let's prove that you don't need flashy.
Ding 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 ding.
No, but I'm not saying that you made it seem like I didn't like I see you saying that I was comparing them because like one was flashy and one was not. But that's not but I just proved that. I was saying is that I can still like something as simple as that, but it just nothing. It didn't stand out to me. It was just still characters using fire, water, earth, and air.
Right, and the reason I made the flashy point was if they were using fire, but it was shaped a bit differently, or it had a different effect around it, you probably would have found it fine.
Well, I mean, obviously, but if it was used in a more ways that would be interesting, because just throwing fire at each other, honestly, isn't. Series is good regardless, but I'm still trying to find out why you guys think it's like honestly so good when it's just standard. Like that's like me saying like Ki is like something so special and unique from everything else. I'm just like, no, Ki is cool, but Ki is just basically using destructive force. That's really much all it is. The beams clashes are cool. The certain type of attacks are cool. Like hell, I tried doing a command melee when I was a kid and all other shit. But
if you didn't throw your hands up and try to do the spirit bomb, you were a fucking pleb.
But like, if I were to compare Ki to Nen stomps out every time. Hell, I might get hate from this, but even Chakra is more interesting than Ki.
No, I agree.
Just because like Chakra, you can do more stuff with it, and that's why I like quirks, because quirks are just like, and that's why I like mutants so much from like the X-Men.
But I like a little bit of consistency. Like I think that there's you can go wrong both ways. You don't want to just throw out random shit here and there with no fucking nothing. Like I think I love quirks, I really do, but I do think that there's a bit of a problem when it seems like there's literally no limit at all. Like he could introduce any power he wanted to. Now, luckily, it's a good author, because that kind of thing in a bad author's hand could have been detrimental. A bad author would have introduced powers that were convenient for the situation constantly, right? But here's a perfect example, right? The fact that remember how everyone was, including myself, was theorizing that Gentle Criminal was going to have like some sort of like video editing style quirk because he said cut, but it was just a plasticky like rubbery quirk. That's great, because you want to know what that does. That makes it still feel like it's random, like a mutation should be. So if he wrote it where it was like each quirk was like really, really centered around the person's personality, it would feel bullshit, because it would feel like he's just giving the characters the quirks that he wants to give them. But the way he writes them, it actually does feel random. So that's why the quirk system actually works for me. But like, you do run into some scary things like Ares quirk, which is just so stupid OP. Like, it's a little bit difficult to kind of like rein it in and have like some limits. I get a little concerned about stuff like that, just because it seems so like I don't know. What do you think about that, Thurman?
Not to mention we have a literal headphone person, a frog. And
no, I have no problem. No, I have no problems with those, because it's just like it's a mutation.
The randomness of it is reaching asinine at this point.
I don't know. I don't have too much problem with that, because it's the same thing with Devil Fruits. Like, I actually kind of like that there's a mochi dude in One Piece right now. I don't mind that. Again, my thing is, I don't mind them being random as long as the powers don't seem to be cherry picked for each character. So, like, for example, the fact that the main villain right now has a fucking like power where he makes shit into rubber. That seems so mundane and like normal, but he's able to use it in a clever way. When you give a character a power that like it feels like it'd be a power that some random fucking fodder dude would have, but they're able to use it in a clever way, that's some good shit. That's what I like. But yeah, I think I've made all the points I want to make. You got any ending comments, guys?
I have a question for you guys.
Yeah.
When it comes to like, cause I didn't even talk about like stands or like borrowed powers or stuff like that.
Yeah, here we can go into that, but I'd like to wrap up in 10 minutes.
So like, I would say because Red, you told me how much you despise Hamon.
It's gotten better now that I've gotten into season 2 and 3.
So
yeah, season 1's explanation of it wasn't the greatest.
I think season 1 Hamon was the sum and the epitome of everything I despise about a power system. Like legitimately, like that was one of the most worst. And maybe it was good in the manga. I don't know, but season 1 Hamon was not explained at all. Motherfuckers just came out of nowhere and were like, "Yo, here's a power that exists." There was a scene with him fucking punching, like, it was a long time ago, but like he punched through, like, was it like a frog to hit a rock, and it didn't hurt the frog, but it hurt the rock somehow. None of this shit's explained how it works. Like, when I see a cool power like that, I want to know the science behind it. I'm like, okay, how's that work? That's cool. What are you doing to make that work? That's fucking cool. Just tell me about that, right? And then they started saying it was about breathing. I'm like, okay, what about helps you fucking punch through a frog and not hit the frog but hit the rock? What about breathing is allowing you to do this shit? Now stands are a bit better because it's just like it's like a fucking spirit that's just behind you and everyone kind of gets it. It's similar to like quirks and devil fruits in that way, which is kind of like, here's your fucking random spirit that you have and it does shit. I like that. I like that better than Hamon, but I think Hamon even now is just not crazily well explained. It's just kind of weird. I just like to know what the power is, how it works, and shit. And I still there's a problem when I couldn't even fucking explain the power system to you. Like, I don't get it. That's my thing with Hamon.
Yeah, see, the only reason why I kind of like accepted Hamon because it was different. I like obscure stuff. I'm a sucker when it comes to obscure stuff.
But different alone
is seen before. Like in Hamon, when it comes to like breathing, everything like that, it wasn't like oh wow, but it was just like okay, it's simple enough. It has something to do with your breathing and how you control your breathing. You know, some people can do it differently. It was unique, I would say the least.
It was unique, but it should have been explained a little better, you know? Yeah. And how do you feel about stands, Thurman?
Stands? I actually really like stands because of well, where are you? How far are you in JoJo, Red?
They're on their way to like Egypt. I think that they just killed the dude that's able to like jump through mirrors and shit.
Ah. I remember that part. Great part. So I like stands because they're a very every time I think of a part, I think of a part that I want to have. Like stands are very unique in this. Like each stand is unique to that person, and each stand has a ability that works well. Like Hermit Purple works well with Joseph because of the character guy he is. Like Star Platinum is an interesting stand because of how Jotaro uses it. Like Silver Chariot, like stands are unique because, especially in the manga, once you start getting like to part 4, part 5, they're become OP as hell. But it's just like it's a very thin line with stands. It isn't just like they have this power. Like Araki always has a limit to stands. So, and that's the one thing because Araki is like Oda in the sense of like he can make the smallest thing, like the most useless thing, useful. And that's my favorite, dude. When you give a fucking character some like fodder
power, and then they use it in like a clever enough way. Oh, it's good shit.
So that is JoJo Bizarre Adventure in a nutshell.
I fucking remember when Cracker was introduced and he had the biscuit no me, and I was like, wow, this guy's got biscuit powers. I'm sure he'll be a big deal. And then he was, and I was like, yo. Remember when that other guy was made out of mochi, and then we were like, fucking fell in love with him and literally wanted to fuck him because he was that good? Yeah, that was good.
I like stuff like that where people can just turn the most useless power into like. Remember the door fruit? I thought that shit was the most useless ability.
Yeah. Oh, Blue No. You thought that was useless, bro? It might have been. I could see useless in combat, but that's good for like teleportation.
Yeah, well, but yeah, that's what I'm saying though. For like combat. Mm-hmm. He used that in combat so well. I'm like, oh shit.
Oh, I love it. That's why I love Oda so much, dude. Oh my god. Ugh. But yeah, okay. My final statement here, because I forgot to say this too, and I know that there's some that there will be more out there, but like I can't think of too many. One of the reasons I think that Nen is the best power system is what I really love about Nen is that the person has almost complete control over what their power is. You make your own power with Nen. Like so many series, you just get like you kind of just have your power, right? So it's like so many series, it's just like, oh, I just got this random devil fruit, or I just or this is my Zanpakuto, or this is the these are the juices I can learn. But like with Nen, it's like you get to fucking make your power from the ground up. Like Kurapika was able to be like, all right, I want to summon chains. I want this chain to do this chain to do this chain to do this. You get to make your own goddamn power, and there's like the sky's the limit with Nen. That's so cool about it. So each Nen power actually is able to fit the person's personality. So you have shit like Knuckles' power from Hunter x Hunter, which is a power of bankruptcy and debt. And what it does is when that power is activated, the fight doesn't actually physically injure anyone, because it goes from a fight of physical damage to a fight of points. And it's a battle of points back and forth. And the reason that power fits him so well is because Knuckles is a pacifist. Knuckles doesn't like hurting people or getting hurt. So his power gets rid of any physical damage being happening and transfers that into points. So no one's killed at the end of their fights. And then at the end of the fight, whoever loses the points, their Nen gets sapped. So then he found a way to end a fight without anyone getting hurt because he's a pacifist. So you get really cool little interactions with the power and the actual character using the power of that. So I'd say a good power system does shit like that. A bad power system is one where here's a character and here's a random power I can slap on that character. Like when the powers just don't feel really well suited for the character, or if it's just coming out of fucking nowhere. That's my final statement on it. Anyone else?
Pretty much spot on there, Red.
Yeah, I think I've got it. I feel like so basically to make a good power is specify it, make it unique. Even if you use something that's like use like ki, chakra, magic, etc., etc., etc. Find something to differentiate that, like for Black Clover, grimoires. For certain other series they have like wands or spell incantations. It's just always something different you can do with an ability. Mm-hmm. And so and it doesn't take me a lot to not like a power. It has to be like extremely, extremely bad, and I have many that I think are really, really bad. I just can't think of them right now. But for the most part, I would say as long as the power is unique, obscure, makes sense, and has like something similar to like Nen, where like each person has like a different like each person has an ability that's unique to them. I think it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
David, any final thoughts?
No, I think we've pretty much covered this quite well here.
That was good though. I liked it.
Yeah, I mean, the best powers are the ones that are really well established. The worst powers are the ones that just give the author ability to play God himself and edit them whenever he feels that the convenience to do so.
I think a rule system is always very necessary for any
Yeah.
aspiring author, because if you, I don't remember the exact quote, but it was some author that said, like, limiting yourself is always the best way to bring out your creativity, you know?
Exactly.
Because it's here's a perfect example, right? If you're playing Minecraft and you go to creative mode, and your first thing you do is like, fuck, I can't think of anything to make, right? But if you play survival mode, the necessity, the what you have, to get it drives you to build more, you know? So, like, if you limit yourself to what you have, you really have to work with what you have more. So, like, again, I bet you that the Horikoshi with Gentle Criminal forced himself to be like, okay, what's the stupidest quirk I can think of for a main villain? Turn shit to rubber. All right, how am I going to fucking make him actually, like, a threat? And then he did it because he's a good-ass writer.
Same could be said about, Oda. You can say the same about Togashi.
Yeah,
You
okay,
say the
yeah,
same
exactly.
thing
I'm trying
about,
to think
the JoJo author, the Berserk author. And
like with the CP9 fucking girl that had a soap ability.
exactly, And then you can say, the lesser of the authors would be, your Kishimoto's, your Kubo's, your freaking Toriyama's, because they gave themselves so much free reign and so little restraint.
Like, yeah, Zanpakuto's had too much free reign, honestly.
And then Ichigo's a living Deus Ex Machina.
Oh, God, he would literally just be like, he has all the powers now.
Yeah, I give up. You know what? Fuck it. They're kicking me the hell out. I'm just going to shit on their desk on the way out.
Well, what it was every time Ichigo fought someone, he would realize, oh my God, I'm part you. Dude,
yeah.
My mom,
I feel
everyone.
something from you. Are you my daddy?
Before his backstory was revealed, I always made the joke that Ichigo must have just been the product of, like, world's best orgy.
And you weren't wrong.
Well, it was like, yeah, it was kind of like, it was Aizen's hollow that bit her, and then Ishin had to, like, fuck the hollow out of her. Essentially. More of that in a later video.
That's in an After Dark video.
Well, we're doing a Yusuke versus Ichigo battle, death battle soon, so there'll be much stuff to talk about there.
Yeah, but until next time, Planet Unity.
Peace.
Peace.